understanding the entire $6,000 deduction in this so-called big, beautiful bill. I've seen a lot of YouTube comments during the live Q&A. I'm going to be doing, this is also a live Q&A as well. If you've got any questions about all things Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, make sure you type them in the chat. And once I talk about the $6,000, $12,000 deduction, I'll get into any and all of your questions. Looks like I already got a lot of questions there. So I'm also getting contacts from my previous workplace, Social Security Administration. So I still have a lot of friends, associates there, and they said, Ed, you're making these videos pretty much every day. Number one, I thought you were retiring. Number two, we need you to do something. We've got people coming into the Social Security Administration asking about this $6,000 stimulus. They think it's a stimulus. It definitely ain't a stimulus. The only time there's been talk of a stimulus over the past few months is when the whole Doge dividend, they were talking about the Doge dividend coming in, and supposedly, you know, Elon Musk was going to find billions of dollars of savings in Social Security or the federal government, and then they were going to give that money back to us. Guess what? It didn't happen. He didn't really find anything, and what he found, they definitely aren't giving it back to the people. So that's definitely not happening. So this is definitely not a stimulus. Anytime there's a stimulus, there's always social media, you know, talk about a stimulus. This is the update on the stimulus. There is no stimulus. When you see the president of the United States, doesn't matter who it is, current president, Biden, Obama, Clinton, or whatever the case may be, anytime there is in fact a stimulus, those guys always get out front in front of the American flag, in front of a podium there, and they say, hey, I am such an awesome person, I'm going to give you a stimulus. That's when you know you're going to get a stimulus. So until then, right now, there's no such thing as a stimulus on the books. A lot of talk, a lot of updates, but yeah, no. All right, don't call the Social Security Administration about this $6,000. It is not a credit either. So there's a lot of people out there that says, you know, they're doing things, they're looking at their budgets, their monthly budgets, and they say, well, I've got this, that, and the other, but I'm going to be getting a stimulus here coming pretty soon, or in April, I'm going to get a tax credit of, I guess, $6,000 because the president said he is going to be giving out money to people and stuff. No, that's not the case. Part of the election promise was no taxes on Social Security. This ain't it either. No taxes on Social Security did not pass at all. So the only thing that kind of the runner-up was a $6,000 deduction. So what this is basically, for most people, if all you're receiving is Social Security, you get nothing. Sorry. If most people, about 40, 50% of the people are just their primary means of income is Social Security. You don't pay taxes anyway, so this is not going to help you one penny. Unfortunately, it's not going to help you at all. The low 40, 50% of people that are just receiving Social Security benefits, it ain't going to help you at all. Okay. If you are getting Social Security benefits and getting some other type of income or working or whatever the case may be, and you do have to pay taxes, what this deduction is if you're single, then let's say you make $100,000 of Social Security and other income. This is only for people 65 and older. Everybody else, sorry, 65 and older. If you're making $100,000, then you're not making $100,000. You're making $94,000 because they're going to deduct $6,000 off the top. You take your standard deduction, whatever your standard deduction is, and then you just add $6,000 if you're single. If you're married, you can have two. If both of you are 65, so you can take off $12,000. So whatever taxes you would have paid on that $6,000, you no longer have to pay taxes on that. So that's $6,000. So let's say you're not making $100,000, you're making a lot less, but you still can use the deduction. So if you use the full deduction, and the lower tax rate is about 12%. So if you're a single, you're saving about $720. So not even $100 a month. If you're married and you both take the deduction, then we're talking about $1,440 a year. So just over $100 a month. So that's all it is. So don't call Social Security. Don't plan necessarily, don't, spend the money. And, I know it's in the Constitution that, we as Americans, we can spend money before we actually get it. But in this particular case, I definitely wouldn't do it until you actually do your taxes and to see whether you're going to get any money back. And this is also only temporary. A lot of the other, tax deductions and tax credits and tax stimulus and tax breaks for all the rich and the big corporations, they are permanent. But unfortunately for us, it's only for 2025, 2026, 2027, and 2028, it expires. So it's only for a few years, and then no more no more tax deduction like this. Okay, so hopefully we cleared the air there and people stop shooting themselves in the foot and expecting that money. All right, let's get into some actual live Q&A. Oh, and also you can go onto my website and anything else under taxes. I've got a particular section on my website, mygovexpert.com, and you can click on the retirement section there, and it gives you a little bit of information on taxation. So some people pay taxes on their Social Security benefits, which is different than the standard tax deduction. That's a completely different animal. So some people do pay taxes on Social Security. About half of people don't. If you're basically all you receive is Social Security, you don't pay taxes on your Social Security, but this gives you all of the thresholds of who pays taxes on Social Security. And I've also put a link. This is the IRS website and how to calculate your taxable benefits. So this is a link directly to the IRS website. Again, so you go into my website and click on the retirement there, click on the little button that says taxation and little information and voluntary tax withholding. I got a bunch of question and answers on the voluntary tax withholding and all the rest of it. So, but again, working and benefits, bunch of question and answers there, how to calculate your earnings in terms of if you're going to be working and receiving Social Security benefits before your full retirement age. Okay, so, and all of that, all of those calculators, all that stuff is 100% free. So go in there and check it all out. All right, let's see. We've got taken to, okay, yeah, politicians played a similar trick on working class and poor people in Great Britain in the 1990s, offering a 20% tax cut that never materialized. Check out the song 20% Amnesia by Elvis Costello. Okay, definitely have to check that out. Will the supervisor that was at the Texas office be charged with fraud and have to pay back the millions he and his accomplices stole? Yeah, that I think it was in Houston. Yeah, they caught someone. Every now and yeah, we caught someone after several decades in my particular office. Yeah, we caught someone selling Social Security cards, and yeah, they had to pay restitution, went to jail and stuff like that. So one case in over 20 years, it does happen, just with everything else. And these people are stupid for even trying it, because anytime you get into the Social Security system, you have to put your card in there and you have to put your PIN in there, and it says anything, every keystroke you do is being monitored. And I used to have to do this all the time. As a manager of my office, someone would go in there and they would type, someone's Social Security number, and they would come up with somebody like a famous actor or a politician or something like that. And they would have to notify me. And they say, hey, Ed, I accidentally, typed in, Arnold Schwarzenegger's, Social Security number. I had a client and his last two of his Social Security number was 12, and I accidentally typed in 21 and Arnold's came up, and so they would have to notify me, and I would have to notify my bosses, who'd have to notify their bosses that, hey, this record was accessed. So yeah, everything is monitored, and these people are stupid to even try because they always get caught. So what about me that I don't file taxes? I don't get enough money. Where do I fit in? Yeah. Nothing. Sorry, you get nothing. Yeah, so it's only this deduction is only, it's not for the people that really need it, unfortunately, just as the campaign promised that there's not going to be any taxes on Social Security benefits. That didn't help the people that actually needed it. It helped kind of the middle class and the upper. So yeah, The no taxes on Social Security it wouldn't have helped. It actually would hurt in the long term, the bottom 40, 50% of people receiving Social Security benefits. And this one, yeah, sorry, you get nothing. I have been getting emails saying they are Social Security. It wants you to fill out a new updated information. Don't do it. It says, "Dear citizen." Wow. Yeah, that sounds like, I did not open it. Social Security does not send emails. Well, they do send emails. I just got mine yesterday about, my yearly thingy. But they just basically send you emails if you opt in for the emails that says, "Hey, go to the official website. There's something in there for you." So don't trust the email in and of itself. But if you get an email that says, "Hey, we've got an important letter that we just sent to your My Social Security account," then go into your My Social Security account. But don't press on the link in that email, because that might be a fake link in there. It might be like a real looking, email. So delete the email and then go into SSA.gov separately. Don't click the link in the email. So, yeah, do not open that. Even, if it says, "Hey, something from Social Security," don't even open it. And just say, "Oh, something from Social Security. Okay, let me go into my Social Security account and see what's in there." So that's probably your best option. So, Steve, have you heard about the healthcare tracking system, or heard they will target people? Hope it's not disability people. Yes, they're supposed to be making this voluntary that they're doing electronic medical records, which is a good thing. But what's going to be used, just as anything else, what are they going to use those medical records for? And supposedly you can opt in. But electronic medical records, a lot of companies and firms and the VA, they do Social Security once, they do everything. It becomes kind of electronic, not kind of fully electronic, it's kind of paper electronic type of situation. But yeah, I don't see anything wrong with that, except for, what are they going to use it for? And if one of the things out there is, if there's going to be this giant database of your personal health information, if somebody gets their hands on that, and in the future you want to go get a life insurance policy or a health insurance, or you want to get a job or something like that, then they'll be able to access that. Even if they can't access it legally, if somehow all of that information gets out onto the dark web, then companies kind of secretly look at that information and say, "Oh, this person has this issue. Maybe we shouldn't hire this person at all." So yeah, that's it's a I think I skipped your question. I clicked on it, but I skipped this next question. And what's up, Mark? They tell us what they want us to hear. The left wing and the right wing belongs to the same bird. Yeah, I agree with you. A lot of I'm a one-trick pony here. I focus on Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, and one particular, one wing of that bird has said they started all of this and they said they're going to protect it, but yeah, the proof is in the pudding, right? What is going on? How come we're going to be getting cuts here in a few years if it's actually protected? And obviously the other side's, they never liked it from day one. And now they're being very, very successful in getting rid of, kind of healthcare for those people that need it. So I'm going to be doing another one on the ironical nature of all of this tomorrow, something I don't think anybody's caught. So I'm going to do another video on that tomorrow. Question: was the removal of the requirement to stopping HSA contributions within 6 months of signing up for Medicare removed from the bill that was passed? No. So basically, I haven't talked about this for a while. Thank you, PP, for bringing this to me. So basically, if you're going to sign up for Part A when you turn 65, you have to stop giving to an HSA 6 months before. And it's not a Social Security thing. Social Security, if you go into Social Security at 65 and say, "Hey, I want to go ahead and sign up for Part A. They'll let you go ahead and sign up for Part A. They'll say, hey, maybe you don't need Part A because you're currently working and you have health insurance from work and all this other kind of stuff. They'll tell you that, but quite often they won't tell you about the HSA thing, the health savings account thing, because that's an IRS issue. And so a lot of Social Security people, just like me, I kind of avoid IRS type issues because I never worked for the IRS. But the IRS says, hey, you had an HSA from your employer, and we're giving you a tax break on how much you put in there. So we're giving you a tax, credit for that. But once you sign up for Part A, you don't get that tax credit anymore. So if you sign up for Part A and continue to give to your HSA, Social Security doesn't care. It's the IRS. The IRS the following year will say, hey, wait a second, you signed up for Part A and you had an HSA. You can't do that. Yeah, you had to cancel your HSA 6 months before. So, and then you'll just have to pay, whatever credit they gave you. So, does this count for SSDI if you are under 65? No, it's only for 65 and older. And if you're someone just mentioned that they're on SSDI and that's not going to help them, that's probably, if you're just on SSDI, and particularly if you're a single filer, then yeah, this probably will not help you at all. So, will Social Security go bankrupt? No. That is something the politicians tell us to try to scare us, so they can, privatize Social Security. Will the trust fund disappear in about 7 years? Yes. And therefore, will you get a cut in your Social Security of about 23%? Yes. But that doesn't necessarily mean you're bankrupt. So Social Security will be around here for hundreds of years unless they privatize it. It's just the problem is we've got this much coming in, we got that much going out, and there's a gap there. Right now, that's a gap of about 8 or 9% every month. And what do they do to cover that gap? They pull money out of the savings, also called the trust fund. So the trust fund is still there. And we're still pulling money out of the trust fund, but one day the trust fund is going to run out and then we're going to get cuts. And we've known about this for 40 years. So we've known about it for 40 years and we failed to do anything about it, us and our politicians. Do you know what responsibility Doge has within SSA? Yeah, pretty much everything. The head of the Social Security Administration, the commissioner, he said he's a Doge guy. I think, I can't remember the guy's name, but everybody knows him as Big Balls. He's at SSA now. He quit his other job and now he's in Social Security. So yeah, there's trillions of dollars in the Social Security Trust Fund, what, $2.6 trillion, and about a $1 trillion comes in every single year into Social Security. So yeah, the powers that be have wanted that money for decades. And it's funny, these are the same guys that said, hey, that's all fake money. It's all IOUs. All that money was stolen. It says, okay, well, if all that money was stolen, why do you want it so bad? And it's like, oh, because, yeah, we know it's there. We know it's there, but we want to tell everybody it was stolen. And we've got 89 more checks. 89 more checks at 100%. And then the 90th check from now is going to be cut by 23%. So for everybody. So let's see. It's a joke. The money saved after the deduction is less than what the tariffs cost us right now, and the high prices haven't even hit from the tariffs yet. Yes, they said what, hundreds of billions of dollars have been collected. That's tax on essentially, people that, spend the money. If you're $1 billion, you just keep the money. You don't really, spend it necessarily. Don't go down to Walmart or Target and buy stuff. You import stuff from Italy or France or whatever. But anyway, but us regular people, we go into stores and we get money coming in on a monthly basis and we go out there and spend it. And yeah, so the money, the $720 or the $1,440 or something, the max you could save, you're probably putting it back into the tariffs income. So, Joseph, hey Joseph, I want to thank everyone on your YouTube channel for praying for me because of my upcoming procedure. Thanks you all. Yes, Joseph notified us a few days ago that he's going in for a procedure, and everybody reached out to him because we have the best community in the country right here. Hey Joseph, I'm about to go to Medicare Part A, delay long Part B until January. Still have state of New Jersey insurance. Okay, yeah. State of New Jersey insurance. Do you mean you work for the state of New Jersey and therefore you're currently working? Then yes, you can refuse Part B. But if you have state of New Jersey insurance in terms of like ACA, the Affordable Care Act, then no, you need to sign up for Part B. You can actually, well, you're not legally obligated to, but if you have the Affordable Care Act to marketplace insurance, you're no longer, once you're eligible for Medicare, you no longer get those premium tax credits. And it's not considered creditable coverage, so you're going to have to pay a penalty once you do sign up for Part B. So, but if you're, yeah, if you got state of New Jersey insurance because you work for the state of New Jersey, then you're good. So, Deb, SSA agent on the phone is sending to process center. Agent says my insurance is paid in full. Why are they keeping 2 of my checks? Can process center fix the problem? Yes. Yeah, that's something the regional processing center, they do things like that. That's, yeah, they can't do that in the local office, which is crazy. They should be able to. But Social Security has been begging Congress for decades. We need to update our computer system. And Congress says, no, we don't want you to update our computer system because we want people to hate Social Security. And, you know, so, and that way we can privatize it. But yeah, yeah, the processing center, if, well, this is the key, if there is a processing center, because the processing centers are part of the regional offices. There were 9 regional offices before Elon Musk and Doge came in there. They shut a bunch of them down. So it might take a lot longer than, yeah. I heard we are getting a $600 rebate. Yeah, no. Okay, I mean, Laura, the scammed called my sister saying they need her numbers because of getting out new cards. Of course, she refused and hung up. Be careful, people. Yes, I talked about this yesterday. Day before yesterday, about Medicare scams, the top 5 Medicare scams. And that's one of them that, hey, we're, you know, us at Medicare here, we are, you know, doing these new Medicare cards and stuff like that. So we need your information, check your address. And what's your Medicare number, by the way, just to double check. It's all a scam. Same type of thing with Social Security. You know, they're probably, anytime Social Security does anything like that, scammers kind of take advantage of it. And it's like, oh, you know, we're switching to a digital Social Security number and we just want to confirm that everything is good. And so give us your information. No, don't do it. Just say, well, good luck to you. Bye. All right. What do they need to get my eye prints retina scanned for? My fingerprints are on original. Yeah, I have no idea. Social Security definitely doesn't do anything like that. I just want Social Security fixed. I don't want none of their stupid rebates, none of the others. You and everybody else on here as well. I agree. Sandra, what's up, Sandra? Hi, there's one question after getting my spousal benefits, my Social Security. Will it deduct my Social Security by working part-time 20 hours a week? Thanks for your patience and support. Greetings from Indiana. Hey, Indiana. How many hours you work? Not really relevant unless you're self-employed, then kind of gets iffy there. But it's about how much you make. So if you're under your full retirement age and you make over $23,400, then yes, they're going to hold back $1 for every $2 you go over. The year you turn your full retirement age, that amount kind of triples. And then once you hit your full retirement age, you can make $1 billion a month and it doesn't affect your Social Security negatively at all. So Daphne, oh my God, I need some help. I have been on Part A and lost my job, so I need Part B. And they keep telling me I'm not eligible until open enrollment. My understanding, this is special circumstance. Yeah, if you had creditable coverage from work, then absolutely you are eligible for a special enrollment period. So from the time you turn 65 until now, you just have to prove that you had health insurance from current work. And let me show you exactly, I'll give you the forms and everything. So you go onto my website, mygovexpert.com, click on the little Medicare thing there, and then click on enrollment periods. and you're not in the initial enrollment period, that's around when you turn 65 or when you're, after 24 months of being on disability, you are in this one, the special enrollment period after losing your job, right? So within 8 months, so you have to get this done within 8 months. I always recommend doing it before you even lose your job, because you know what happens when you don't have health insurance for, a month. That's when you actually get sick. And then you'll need these two forms, the 40B and the 564. And the 564 is the one you take to your employer. And let me double check to make sure the link is working. And the link is working, yay. So you go in there, and let me double check this other one here. Sometimes the links disappear. So, okay, they are both working. So you take the 40B actually signed you up, and the 564 there, that's the one that prevents you from, getting a penalty and get you your special enrollment period. So you just have to fill out those two forms and then take it down there. And I would get it done as soon as possible, because, everything is backed up at Social Security right now. And you want to get that health insurance started as soon as possible. So, but if for some reason you didn't have creditable coverage, or you're not doing it within the 8 months or something like that, then yes, you'll have to wait till the general enrollment period, which is January, February, and March. So started in January, get everything done in January, and your health insurance, your Part A and Part B, well, you already got Part A, but Part B will start February 1st. And then you can also reach out to our partners at Chapter there, because you'll need, obviously some other type of, Medicare supplement, Medicare Advantage. So check out whichever one is best for you. Let's see here. Keep smiling. Keep smiling is angry. Makes me so angry. Raise FICA Cap and close all the unjustified loopholes these multimillionaires have. I agree. We agree. We agree. The green big scam deal signed by Congress cannot be funded. Okay. Let's see. It's perfect for a couple who is both 65 and over and still filing. Another 12,000 added deduction for some will be a nice surprise. Unfortunately, that's not me. Yeah. The people that could really, really need it. Sorry. If you're applying for SSDI due to can't work, how can you keep Medicaid with 80-hour work requirement? Well, if you're actually receiving disability benefits, then you don't have to do the 80-hour work requirement. But the problem is, Social Security disability is tough to get. If you're disabled, then it's easy to get. But there's some, particularly mental issues, back issues, different things that, you're probably just on the border and you're denied. But you are disabled and unable to work, but you can't get Social Security to approve it. And those people, unfortunately, even though they can't work, but they're not receiving disability. So they're going to be mandated to do the 80 hours or volunteer, and they're going to be losing. And I'm going to be doing a video on this tomorrow about the hypocrisy about this. This makes no logical sense whatsoever how they did it. And I'll talk about this just tomorrow. Marta, I sat down with the TurboTax to figure out how to optimize Roth conversions for this year to take advantage of the $6,000 deduction, a few years of opportunity to do the conversions. I think it was the electronic filing. I think the big beautiful bill ended that or something. Yeah, I don't do taxes. I've been trying to cancel my subscription to the IRS for decades, but anyway. Money deducted from our check for Social Security employer matches should receive what is paid in. Why reduced? Yeah, exactly. Because of politicians and us not listening to the Social Security trustees for the last 40 years that says, hey, the reason is, if you're new to my channel, the reason is you hear a lot of people talking about the FICA Cap. And basically what it is you and I pay every dollar we make, we pay into Social Security FICA, the payroll tax, FICA, Social Security, 6.2%, and then our employer pays 6.2%. If you're making a lot of money, you stop paying into Social Security after $176,100. So that's the problem, is that the people that are making a lot of money are making, since the 1980s, are making tons of money that previously would pay into Social Security. but that money over $176,100 doesn't pay into Social Security. So if we would have gotten that money, because we are the ones that made that productivity since the 1980s. So that this top line here, that red one, is productivity since the 1980s. And our wages have been flat, but we have produced more and more and more. Where's that more and more and more money gone to? It's gone to the top. And they don't pay into Social Security like we do. That is the issue. That's why people always say need to raise the cap or smash the cap. So Gwendolyn, hello, SS expert. I'm 64 on survivor benefits, have applied for SSDI because I can no longer work full time. Someone from Social Security case manager is calling me, asking me questions. Yeah, if it sounds like it's an actual person from Social Security, but it sounds like you reached out to them, so that sounds normal. So you're receiving survivor benefits. And if so you're going to be filing for benefits on your own record. So if your own record is more, then yeah, get those Social Security disability benefits. It's not going to help Medicare because you're already 65, you're already 64, and you're going to get Medicare next year. So that's not an issue. But if you go ahead and file for SSDI on your own, and let's say it's $100 more, if you start getting benefits on your own, and you're like, oh, okay, I need the $100. If that's the fact, if that's the case, perfect, go for it. But if you continue to get your survivor benefits and don't touch your own and just wait until your full retirement age plus, so wait till 68, 69, 70. So instead of $100 more, it might be $300 or $400 or $500 more. So I would definitely check that out. So after your full retirement age, you just file for regular retirement benefits at 68, 69, 70. So I would definitely check out that. Make sure you're making the right decision in terms of, how much. But yeah, if you need the extra, if it's an extra $100, you need the extra $100 now, then that's kind of a no-brainer. Go for it. I need help. Ex-Marine cancer, and my LDI pass at the end of July. Is there a phone number to call you? Yeah, I unfortunately, I know you're ex-Marine, and so am I. Former Marine, sorry. Yeah, I don't do personal calls anymore. I've just got so much. I've got someone, Mai Jackson, who worked with Social Security for many decades. You can go onto my website and schedule a little appointment with her. But if you got a question, Mark, yes, please ask it now. And if you don't want to give out private information, just kind of ask a general question. I would not count on that $600 due to it may come to the same thing as the Doge checks that were told. Yeah, this one was actually written into law. So the Doge checks was just a social media construct. That social media, there's a guy out there that does an update on this, on the Doge dividend stimulus check, like once or twice a week, and he gets, a whole bunch of people watching it, and he just says, "Yeah, the update is." Yeah, there is no update. And yeah, so he's making a lot of money. That's crazy. Does a person need to be 65 for the entire year to take the 6,000? Yeah. So I think it's you have to turn 65 by the end of the year, December 31st. Yes. I'm 64, and on Survivor, but I have applied for okay. So I already answered that one. I'm getting ready to go for railroad retirement. What place does Social Security play in it? Social Security, what place do they play in it? Whatever railroad board says. If you ever go into Social Security, that's one of the first questions they ask you if you're filing a claim, particularly for retirement or disability. They said, did you ever work for the railroad? And as soon as you say yes, you'll see the Social Security employees, oh gosh, and they'll kind of, all right. So then they'll go back to their back desk and get the phone number, and they'll call the railroad board and find out who has jurisdiction. So who, whether you worked in the railroad board long enough, and if you worked in the railroad, or your spouse or ex-spouse or divorced spouse or deceased spouse, whatever, then they'll say, yeah, sorry, can't help you. You have to contact the railroad board, and the railroad board will take care of everything. So yeah, it's kind of a unique system, and it still exists. There was another strange kind of thing that we used to have to ask is, Were you a Japanese attorney during the war? So, a Japanese American attorney. Well, there about 100,000 of the people that were incarcerated in these internment camps during World War II were Americans of Japanese descent. About 10 or 20,000 of them were actually Japanese national citizens. But these were American citizens that we interned during World War II. It's one of the tragic parts of American history. And we used to have to ask at Social Security, were you interned during, are you Japanese and, or Japanese nationality or citizenship or descendants, and were you interned in a Japanese internment camp during World War II? We used to ask that because they gave them extra Social Security benefits for that time. But all of those people have since passed, so they stopped asking that question. So they still do strange questions like a black lung type of thing, or are you clergy, and did you take a vow of poverty? Some very strange questions sometimes, but I think those are the strangest ones. So the most, not strange, but unusual. I bought a new car for my sole proprietor business this year. I usually use the miles for the write-off. Do I qualify for any tax breaks? Yeah, I don't do taxes. Let's see. I don't answer the phone unless I know who it is. Left no message, no problem. Exactly. Yep. Wendy, I'll be turning 67 in December. Got a letter today saying I get $226 more a month starting September. Are letters from Social Security real? Yeah, it could be if it actually comes from Social Security. Always check it out. It looks like an official one. It comes from, it's stamped. The stamp is, stamped in a particular place, Baltimore or Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, or something like that. Then sounds official. But that's why I always say, set up a My Social Security account. Because these scammers, particularly these overseas scammers, you used to get emails. We used to get emails all the time, and we could tell by the English, these English was not the first language. It was like this other one, dear citizen. It sounded kind of strange. But now with AI, they're able to generate these emails and these letters and all that stuff in perfect English. And so that's not anything that stands out anymore. And they're able to do it, at lightning speed. So yeah, that's why I said, set up a Social Security account and go in there and definitely check it out. Make sure it is in fact real. My full benefit will be around $7,733 after the cut. What might be looking at? Yeah, full benefit? Yeah, I don't think it's $7,000. If you're talking Social Security benefits, there is no Social Security benefits. That's over, I think the high this year is what, 5,200? So how long does it take to start receiving your Social Security check after you apply? If you're just regular retirement benefits, shouldn't be, if your office has actual employees in it anymore, rather than AI or something, then shouldn't be that long. So I've done hundreds of thousands of retirement claims, and if you've got all your documentation and everything is good, your proof of age is good, everything is correct there, your earnings are correct. People, before I walk them to the door or say thank you and bye and we're done, and then push the button in about 30 seconds and it's done. And then I go on to my next 400 cases. So if everything is good, then it should be relatively easy. But the thing is, did you file for the right benefits? Did you check your earnings record and all the rest of it? So, Dr. Ed, skip the first part of my question posted at 5:09. Many thanks for all you do. Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, I've got hundreds of questions that got to scroll through, and I just click at random. 100% at random. As you can tell, sometimes I click stuff and I'm like, ooh, I guess I shouldn't have clicked that one. What about trying to get back the interest on your loans or credit cards, interest on Social Security? Yeah. I started collecting earned Social Security benefits 2 months after my full retirement age. Am I entitled to any delayed retirement credits? Yes. If so, when should I receive the increase? Thanks for all your helpful info. You're welcome. So yeah, if you file for benefits after your full retirement age, you are entitled to those delayed retirement credits, which is 8% per year. But it's that's what it is per year. But you can get basically that prorated. So every month you wait after your full retirement age to start benefits, then you'll get 8% divided by those 12 months, by whatever a month. So if you waited 2 months, then yeah, you should get that extra. But the computer system has a difficult time calculating partial months like that, a partial year. So if you do a full 12 months, then it's got no problem. It does the 8%, easy, easy, easy. But in your particular case, it's a system issue, and you'll get that 2 months, but probably you won't get it until January. But you'll get it. They will give it to you, but it just sometimes it takes a little delay. So I would definitely keep an eye on that, and don't confuse it with a COLA or anything like that. So next year, in January or something, you get an increase and you're like, oh, that might be those delayed retirement credits for that 2 months. No, that just might be the COLA. And anytime they adjust your record like that, then they do send out a letter and it says, hey, you've got your COLA. We gave you the COLA increase. This is why you're going to get this much from now on. And they should send out a different letter, a completely different letter that says, we're going to increase your benefit by X amount because of that delayed retirement credits. So just keep an eye out for that. Wendy, oh wow, that's quite an increase. Good for you. Usually stays pretty much the same. Okay, Penelope's answering questions here, and she's always 100% right. So I'm just going to let her do her thing. Margaret, Dr. Weir, so appreciate you. Wondering if this hasn't come up since I logged on late. Already, but would you consider doing a petition to raise the cap on FICA? Yeah, I did a petition and we sent it up. And the problem with petitions is all politics are local. So if we send, let's say, a petition, to Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House, and the petition has signatures from people all over the country, and then one person from Louisiana, he's just going to look at that one person from Louisiana and say, okay, that's one person in Louisiana. I don't care. All the other people in the country, I don't care about. So we're addressing that. I'm coming up with a far, far better idea. Working on it now. Hopefully it should be done, hopefully by the first week in September. A lot of moving parts, but yeah, we're working on that. So all politics are local. Where can I find the actual calculation for benefits? I just opted to receive my benefits at full retirement age, and the number they quoted me doesn't jive with my rudimentary calculation. So basically what they do is they come up with the AMI, average index monthly earnings, and how they do that is your high 35 years of earnings. And I've got a video question that kind of feeds into that. So your high 35 years of earnings, and then they index those. They index those based on kind of a wage index. So they index them to basically your 60-year-old year when you turn 60. And then they average those out, which is averaged index monthly earnings. So they say, okay, average index monthly earnings for you over your entire 35 years, your high 35 years is $4,000. Let's say, and then they take that and multiply it by these bin points, 90%, 32%, 15%, and then they come up with your PIA, your primary insurance amount. So yeah, that's how the sausage is made. And I've got a video question that someone sent in specifically like that. So let's listen to what she has to say.
Hi, my name is Eileen Bradley. I live in Florida. I've retired at full retirement age 70. It's about 10 years ago. And I'm a twin. And I worked at least 10 years more than my sister did. And yet I'm not getting that much more than she is. I don't have the exact amount. How is the calculation made? Can I go back and recalculate that to see if it's accurate? I know I've received cost of living as everyone else has, but I just feel that it's not really more than it should be. I mean, it should be more. So, but I'm not sure. I have to calculate it. How would I go about that? Thanks.
Okay, yeah. So basically, how I just explained, that's how it's calculated. But the computer system does that automatically, and as long as your earnings record is correct in Social Security, then it's correct. But you mentioned that you worked 10 years longer. That doesn't matter. So let's say you worked 45 years and your twin sister worked 35 years. That extra 10 years doesn't help unless during those 10 years you made a lot more. So they're not going to add 45 years versus your sister's 35 years. You're both going to get whatever high 35 years is. So that 10 years doesn't necessarily make a difference. It's your high 35 years. But yeah, if you think your benefits are incorrect, the number one thing is just to go in there and make sure your earnings record is correct, because that's how everything is based. So that's why I recommend everybody go into, even if you're young, particularly if you're young, go into Social Security, set up an account, and then every now and then, once a year, every couple of years, go in there and check and make sure your earnings record is correct. Because if this young lady from Florida, if she goes in there and sees that, oh, it looks like in 1981, I worked at a place and the earnings aren't there, she's going to have a very difficult time, if not an impossible time, getting that corrected. So she just lost all that money for the rest of her life. But if you catch that in 1982, 1983, 1984, then you can correct it and get it fixed. So it's important that you get it done. So Just Jeff, thank you for all you do. You are a saint. Oh, I definitely won't tell my wife that. She won't believe it. I will soon be taking advantage of your website real soon. Even more advantage that you have provided with your videos. Oh, thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah, wait till the new website comes out. Then, yeah, it's going to be a partner to the current website. Is the monthly SSDI payment considered a resource when Medicaid eligibility has been determined? Not necessarily a resource, it's income. Yeah. But it also depends what state you're living in. Some states, they count SSDI as income. In other states, they don't. I've had people that were living in one state and they were receiving X amount from Social Security Disability Insurance and they got Medicaid. They moved to another state and the state counts that. So it really depends on your particular state. Tim Huck, my 18-month is about over on the COBRA. What can I do until 24 months get me to Medicare? Oh, okay. So you are receiving Social Security Disability Insurance and you're waiting for your 24th month until you get kicked into Medicare. And you've got, 6 months there without any COBRA. The Affordable Care Act. Marketplace insurance is basically the only other thing out there. So, Vicky, but make sure your 24 months is correct. A lot of people, because if your disability case was approved and they gave you some retroactive or something like that, I would double check. A lot of people mess up on when they think their Medicare is going to start, that 24 month. So I would call Social Security just to confirm, and I'm sure you already did, but just to make sure that that date is correct before you go out there and spend money on another, health insurance. So my granddaughter is receiving survivor benefits from her father. Can she receive after 18 if she goes to college? No. There used to be that program, but it stopped. So she can continue. Her benefits will automatically stop at 18. If she's still in high school, then she'll just have to fill out these forms, take them down there, and her benefits will continue until she graduates high school or 19 and 2 months. But yeah, the whole thing about continuing to college, that stopped many, many years ago. Garbo, I logged into my SSI account and it's showing my current benefit is about $3,000. So you're not receiving SSI then. You mean your Social Security account. SSI is a welfare-based program. But so if you're making $3,000, you're not eligible for SSI, but you mean SSA. Happens all the time. Can that go down or will it only continue to grow over the years as I pay into the system? I'm guessing it will grow. Yes. If you work this year, because you will always pay the FICA, unless you're really rich, you'll always pay that Social Security FICA. And if it's one of your high 35 years of earnings, then you don't have to do anything. Social Security automatically calculates it and increases your benefits. So it will always go up based on the COLA. If you continue to work and that's one of the high 35 years, then it'll go up. It won't go down until all of it goes down in 2033 with that 23% cut because we didn't hold our politicians accountable. All right, I've got a couple of other video questions here.
Yeah, Dr. Ed. Um, hey, just a question. I turned 62 on the 21st of June. I filed for my Social Security. They received it in March, and my current application is in the second or the third phase. When I filed online, and it went to PA, and I live overseas, over here in Germany, and they turned it over to the Frankfurt consult. But I have not heard anything from them. Not sure when to expect to hear anything at all. So I'm just trying to get an idea of the timeline because I've looked on your line where it talks about, 4 months, and then the month after, you plan on wanting to receive 4 months to go ahead and turn it in. And then a month after you want to receive your benefits, or when you become eligible, you should start receiving something. But mine's just been lingering, so I'm not sure if I should expect anything anytime soon or not.
Well, should you expect it? In a perfect world, yes, that's your money. You should get it, right? You paid into it. You should get it. But the reality is, yeah. Particularly, so you're living overseas. This is why I recommend anybody that decides they're going to, move overseas after they start receiving Social Security benefits, that you do everything with Social Security before you leave. Because once you leave the country and go ahead and file, then unfortunately everything's going to take 2, 3, 4, 5 times, and particularly now because you've got your federal benefits unit in Frankfurt that you have to deal with, and they just basically, that's one Social Security employee there, and basically they package everything to give it and together and send it to the Office of International Operations back in Baltimore, which is crazy understaffed. So unfortunately, it's going to take forever. To expedite it, I mean, you could contact your politician back home and say, hey, I paid into it for all those decades, and I want my money. What's going on? How come, it's taken so long for me and everybody to collect what we paid into it? So it's completely unsatisfactory, but that's about all you can do, unfortunately.
Can I make any extra money while on SSI disability?
Okay, she was shy. Can you make money? Can you work and collect SSI? Yes. The work limitations are far more difficult than regular SSDI, which is Social Security Disability Insurance. SSI is a needs-based, welfare-based program. So if you work and make a lot of money, then that's basically, it's going to offset your SSI, and then you're not going to receive SSI. So you can go onto my website there, work in SSI, and it gives you kind of the numbers. So it's basically like a one for one. So if you work, make $1, then that's how it kind of works out. But just go onto my website and it gives you some calculations, and there's exclusions and all the rest of it. But yes, you can work and collect SSI. And probably one of the big things you're worrying about is, okay, I'm only making, $967 on SSI, and, I can, work and make a little bit extra money, but if I get kicked off of SSI, am I going to lose my Medicaid and all that stuff? It depends what state you're in. Well, a lot of people are going to lose their Medicaid regardless of where they are because, anyway. But sometimes they continue your Medicaid even though you're not eligible under the SSI rules. So those are the couple of things I would check out. How much you're going to make. I would contact your local Social Security, check out my website there, kind of figure out how much that's going to, reduce your Social Security benefit from your SSI, and then reach out to your state and say, hey, this is what I'm planning. I'm going to make X amount per month. I'm on SSI. Am I still going to be able to keep my SSI and work that much? Make sure, you cover all your bases to make sure there's no surprises. Surprises are not fun. Diane, I have a question about Social Security. My Social Security card has my first name, middle initial, married name, ex-husband. My passport and license have first name, maiden name, and married name. Should I change? It really depends if you're, whatever one is correct, if you're, I guess they're all in a sense correct, right? But when you go in to file for your retirement benefits and everything, if that's what you have on it's called the Numadint. That's the one Elon Musk was focused on, where no money is paid out. It's just the record of your name and, your parents' name and stuff like that. He was trying to find money out of that, which was kind of funny, but it was embarrassing. But if your Numadint is correct, that means your Social Security card, the internal record of your Social Security card, if that's the name you want to use and that's the name that they're going to pay you under. So if it's under a previous name and your bank account is under a new name, then if they send you that check, it might bounce back because it's a different name. So you can, if you want to keep them all updated and all of the same thing, then that's fine. But the fact that your passport says one thing and your driver's license says another thing doesn't necessarily affect your Social Security. It just depends on, so you can download an SS5. That's the one, an application, and I've got that on my website. So you click on more and you click on the card guide there, and it talks about how to get your Social Security card and changing your name and everything. And you need to prove some type, if you're going to change your name because of a marriage or something like that, usually you have to provide proof of the linkage between one name and the other. So like if it was a divorce type situation, you have to, have your name, and then as part of the divorce, you're going to be, returning to your, previous name or something like that. So, and it is an SS5. I've got that there double, so I need to fix that. So an SS5 is the request for a Social Security card. And it's not going to be a new Social Security number. It's going to be the same Social Security number, obviously. You're just going to update your name. If you don't want to do that now, you don't want to mess around with it now, no big deal. When you actually go file for Social Security benefits, you can change it there too. So when you actually go to file for Social Security, I've done this thousands of times. They just change your name as part of your application. They also do an SS5, a name change at that time, so you can get everything done in one fell swoop. So pretty easy. If you've got the documentation to prove it, super easy. So how do I find out the difference between my Social Security versus my ex-spouse Social Security? So if you're looking for benefits from your ex-spouse, Social Security employees are obviously very cagey about giving that information. So you just call them up and say, hey, I want to see if I can get any money from my ex. Here's his Social Security number. If you don't know the Social Security number, no big deal. Just tell them the person's name, how old they are, where they were born. As best as you know all that information, they will find that Social Security number and they will tell you. Not how much. Not until you prove stuff. But they'll say, oh yeah, no, you're not eligible for benefits on that record. And then ask them, says, well, am I not eligible because of how long I was married or something like that? Or is it because of the calculations? A lot of people miss money on this one because they're told you're not eligible for benefits on your ex's record. And they think that means forever. No, that just means at that particular time, because of the way the calculations are done, your benefit amount has to be less than half. And at that particular day, it's not. But that might change a year, 2 years, 10 years later, or if that person passes away, then everything changes. So there's a lot of people out there that are entitled, eligible, need extra benefits, but they ain't getting them because they were told at one particular time that you can't get benefits on that record, but it was just because of the calculation. So please subscribe and like and share so this information goes out to those other people. So, and then once you prove everything, so again, they'll be kind of cagey. They'll just say whether you're eligible or not eligible. If you're eligible, they'll go ahead and set you up an appointment, and then you provide, whatever proof you have to provide. Don't wait on the proof. Start the appointment, schedule the appointment, and then start getting whatever documentation you think you'll need. If it's a 10-year marriage, you need the marriage certificate, divorce decree, but don't delay. Get that started. And then once you prove all of that, then they'll give you the numbers of how much more money you're going to be making. So be happy. Cannot wait for your new addition to your website. Thank you for keeping us hopes alive. God bless you and your family. You, sir, need the best human being. Oh, thank you. Oh, wow. Be happy. You are just happy yourself and making everybody else happy. You are too awesome. Thank you. Appreciate it. Let's see. You see, get some people that I've never seen before. Tornadoes. Trump, all stop the wars on day one. Media, when are you going to stop the war? Trump, it's Biden's war. What? Okay, yeah. Mindy, what's up, Mindy? Do we still qualify for Social Security benefits if you have a 401k account? Yep, absolutely. A 401k account, IRA, trust fund, inheritance, royalties from that child acting gig you did in The Little Rascals. Doesn't matter. None of that is relevant because Social Security wants you to have all that stuff. You know, you're supposed to, since day one, 1935, they said, retirement, you should have a pension, which those are pretty much disappearing nowadays, right? You should have your own personal savings, which is a 401k, and then Social Security. Those are the three legs of the stool. So yeah, 401 accounts, no relevance whatsoever. So, all right, we are over an hour. Let me find one person that we haven't seen here before. A friend's daughter already lost Medicaid, but she is working part-time, so I'm wondering why. Yeah, the new website is going to be a major focus on Medicaid and volunteering and helping other people and supporting our community. Yeah, if she lost Medicaid, remember, you can appeal anything. Anybody can appeal anything. If the government makes any decision, if a Medicare plan, a Medicare Advantage, or Part D, Social Security, food stamps, if they make a decision and you disagree with it, please, please, please fight it. Fight it. Say, no, I disagree with your decision. I think eligible for Medicaid. I think this should not be denied for prior authorization, whatever the case may be. And that's the irony of the whole work thing. It's like, oh, we need to get these lazy people off and, have them go out there and contribute to the economy, and then they can get Medicaid. Well, if they go out there and do that, then they're no longer qualified for Medicaid. And they're probably working at jobs, because a lot of jobs don't even provide health insurance. So they're screwed either way. So I think that's a technical term that's in the beautiful bill. Sorry, screwed either way. So, or maybe it's the old ex-Marine of me. Excuse me, former Marine. People always call me out on that. Once you're a Marine, you're never an ex. You're mentally challenged for the rest of your life. So there's that. All right. That's it. Over an hour. I'll be back again tomorrow, and I'm going to talk about the kind of the hypocrisy of this whole big, beautiful bill, the $1 trillion on Medicaid, which I don't think a lot of people are talking about. So I'm going to talk about that tomorrow, and then I will answer a whole bunch of other questions. Y'all have a great night. And